I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Francis, you're not wearing a green shirt. And you're absolutely right, because I decided to wear a gray shirt today. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to deal with rejection. Because we often feel so rejected when somebody doesn't want to be, for example, in a relationship with us, or when somebody quote unquote rejects us. And I'm going to share with you why I say reject in that way later in this video. But when somebody quote unquote rejects us, we feel like it's personal. We feel rejected. We feel like it's very personal, and that rejection has everything to do with who we truly are. And I'm going to share with you in this video how to not feel rejected when somebody quote unquote rejects you, and how to deal with rejection. And it's definitely not what you think. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, I do have a group program coming up in the next couple of months. So if you want more details on the program, and if you want to be a part of the program, the link will be in the description box of this video. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally to go deeper in your spiritual growth and take your life to the next level, the link will be in the description box of this video to apply for free consultation as well. Now, here's the first thing I want to share with you when it comes to this whole thing of being rejected. The thing we need to understand is that people are never rejecting you. They're not really rejecting who you really are. They are rejecting the idea of who they think you are. So when somebody, like let's just say as an example, you walk up to somebody and let's just say we're going to talk about rejection in regards to like dating and romance. Although you can literally apply this to anything. So you can be rejected in a lot more ways than just romantic relationships. But let's just say you ask someone out on a date, for example, but you can apply this really to anything, and they say no, but they've known you for 5 minutes. Are they really rejecting you? All the parts of you, everything that you are as a whole, the spiritual side of you, the parts of you that you didn't even show that person yet? Or are they rejecting the idea of who they think you are based on the 5 minutes that they saw you? Or maybe even if they knew you for longer than 5 minutes, maybe they knew you for a very long time. Let's say somebody even knew you for 2 years and they rejected you. Here's the thing though, no matter how much somebody gets to know you, they're never rejecting you. They're rejecting the idea of who they think you are. Because who you truly are, cannot be confined in a thought, in a label, in a judgment. Somebody can't just put a label on you and say that's who he is. But that's what people are rejecting. They're rejecting the label that they project upon you. That's all they're rejecting. They're not rejecting you as who you truly are, which is definitely not just your thoughts and your emotions and your body. You're much more than that. They're rejecting the simple idea of who they think you are. And this is a very important thing to understand, because we often feel so rejected, we take it personally, but they're just rejecting what they think you are, not what you actually are. They're rejecting this thought that they have in their mind of who they think you are. So you've never actually been rejected in your life. You thought you were rejected because they rejected an idea in their minds. When somebody judges you, when somebody puts a label on you, when somebody has you confined in a box and they say this is who he is, they're limiting you. They're limiting who you truly are. They're limiting your true self. They're not allowing you to show up fully in that relationship because they want you to be a certain way that you simply are not. And that's what they're rejecting. They're rejecting the idea of what they think you are. They have this image in their minds of who they want you to be, of what's ideal for them subjectively, and then they reject that. And then here you are taking it personally when they don't even know who you truly are. They probably don't even know who they truly are, all right? If people aren't accepting you, it's like a separate video, they probably don't accept themselves as well. Or maybe it's just not an energetic match. Which brings me to the second point, which is if you were totally honest, if you came from your heart, if you came from your true self, if you fully expressed yourself in a way that was totally authentic, right? And then they rejected the idea of you, well, isn't that a good thing anyways? Isn't it a good thing that they rejected you? Why would you even want that person in your life anyways if they wouldn't accept you for who you truly are? For me personally, if I'm totally open with my heart, I fully open my heart, I'm fully honest about my values, what I want, how I want to show up in the world, what I want from that particular relationship, and that person rejects the idea of who they think I am, I'm okay with that. In fact, it's a good thing, because what happens is when you show up unapologetically as who you truly are, when you show up with the intention of knowing what you want and how you want to show up in the world, and then you quote unquote get rejected, then you just saved yourself so much time, so much energy, because if they accepted you but you weren't being real and you were pretending to be a certain way to fit into the idea of what they want you to be in their mind, that's called living a lie. You're not living a truthful existence. You're playing a facade. Now, there's nothing wrong with playing facades, because this reality is all of us just playing characters, but you're attached to the character. You have to play this role when you don't want to play the role, right? And that's because you're attached to just letting your consciousness flow how it wants to flow, to let the true self just flow out of, the limited self. Now here's the problem, is that we sometimes attach and we like to be certain ways for other people. And the problem is that sometimes we can waste so much time. It's like if you really knew what was gonna happen, you would rather get rejected at that point. I would rather get rejected in whatever way, romantic or business or any other kind of relationship. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship we're talking about here. I personally would rather get rejected than play a role in a relationship that was never going to work out anyways. Now, I'm not saying that relationship couldn't have worked out anyways, but there probably are some relationships that are just not meant to be. And it's not that it's like a destiny thing. It is to some degree, but it's also like that person might not just share the values you have. They might not resonate with your values. They might not have the capacity and the energy and the emotional intelligence or the skill sets or capability to be compatible with you at that time. And so if you're being your full true self, if you're coming off fully authentic and you get quote unquote rejected, beautiful. Which brings me to the third point. It's beautiful because now you're gonna be open with another person and they might accept you. And that person is the person you want to be with. You don't really want to be with the people that reject you for you. You want to be with the people that accept you for you. And the people that reject you for being who you truly are as consciousness, and then letting that consciousness flow through your vessel and just letting the authenticity of who you truly are come through, not just who you truly are in a cliche way, but being connected to your spirit, being connected to your true self, being connected to the formless dimension within you, allowing that consciousness to flow through, that is your true self. And if you're letting that universal intelligence flow through you freely with an open heart, no filters, you're just letting the consciousness, the stream of consciousness flow through you, and somebody rejects that, right? What happens is that's a good thing, because now you say, okay, well, that person wasn't going to be compatible with me. You know, why would you want to be in the presence of somebody that doesn't accept you for you? It's not going to be a fun relationship. And if you think you want the relationship, now you're attached to the idea of who you think they are, but you don't really want who they truly are. You want the idea of them. You're rejected and you think you're losing something. No, you're not losing anything. You're just attached to an idea of what you want the relationship to be, when it's possible that you guys aren't compatible. There's no compatibility. The values aren't the same. The energy isn't the same. There's just no match. And that's okay, because there's somebody else in your life, romantically or business-wise or whatever, that is a match. And so the third thing I want to share with you on how to deal with rejection is just connect with the people that are in alignment with you being you. If you're being you and you don't get rejected, those are the people you want to keep around. Because here's what I learned in my life. When I show up fully as who I truly am, unapologetically, two things happen. When you're fully upfront, when you play no games, no lies, you're not fake, you're fully who you truly are, you're fully there, you fully open your heart with that person in whatever way you want to open up in that moment, because you can still have boundaries. You can still, maybe your authentic self has boundaries, right? Doesn't mean you have to be overly vulnerable. It means you show up as what you want. Maybe your value in life is to have boundaries, and you show up with certain boundaries. Somebody doesn't accept that. They say, oh, I can't handle those boundaries. They start to think you're an asshole because you have boundaries. Well, that's what I'm getting to. When you show up as fully who you are, in alignment with your values, whatever those values are, maybe it's to have boundaries, maybe it's to make sure that you feel peace in any moment. And if you feel like you're drained, you need to be in your own energy. Somebody thinks, oh, I can't, like Francis is whatever your name is, that person is fill in the blank, they project onto you. Two things happen when you are your unapologetic self. One, they completely reject you. You show up with your values, you show up as who you are, and they reject you. That's the first thing that happens. They either completely reject you or they fully accept you. Those are the two things that happen. When you show up unapologetically as who you are, you either get fully rejected, right? You fully make the offer, you fully share what you want, you get fully rejected, or they accept you for who you truly are, and the relationship can go much deeper after that. Now, what's beautiful is that, excuse me, both of those are totally fine. It's totally fine. Because if somebody rejects you, great. They weren't compatible, most likely, with you anyways. And if they accept you, that's great. You move forward. But think about it like this. Either one's great because both of them are in alignment with who you truly are. Both of those outcomes are good because if you get rejected for being who you truly are, that relationship, I'm willing to bet a lot of money that you wouldn't be happy in that relationship anyways. You see what I'm saying? We think we want these relationships because maybe somebody's attractive or you have an idea of how great it's going to be, but it's not going to be that great if they don't accept you for who you are. All right? It's just a fantasy that we want. You don't really want those relationships romantically or business-wise that you think you want if somebody's rejecting you. It's the universe telling you that this person's not meant to be in your life. Now, you're thinking, Francis, but what if it can work? Maybe it can. Maybe destiny can bring you guys together for whatever kind of relationship it is. Again, it doesn't have to be limited to romantic. But the thing is, though, also at a very logical, physical level, do they share the same values as you? Do they have the same goals as you? Do they have the same vision as you? Are they at a similar vibration that you're on? Do they eat the same foods as you? Do they have a similar lifestyle that you have? Right? If the answer is no to all those things and they reject you, at that point, you should have just rejected them. Not in a negative way, but we're not compatible, right? You're not compatible, and that's okay. So whether somebody rejects you or accepts you when you come up as your full authentic self, both outcomes are actually good, and they're both going to be in alignment with you living up to your highest potential, you feeling the best, because whatever's in alignment with your values is always going to be the best life, because it's your values. It's what you value in life. It's not my values, it's your values. What do you value? And whatever you value is totally cool, because it's what you value. What I value is not what you value. Maybe you value going to meditate in the tropics and not making any money, but I value peace above all else, but I also value money. I value my consciousness over money, but I also value to be financially abundant. Maybe somebody doesn't value financial abundance. That's okay. Maybe that person isn't resonating with that value that you have of not having financial abundance or having financial abundance. It's all welcome in this universe, but sometimes it's just not going to be compatible because that person doesn't have the same values. So to conclude this video, when you show up as your true self, whatever happens is a beautiful thing. Just remember that. If you've been rejected, ask yourself, would that really have been a good relationship anyways? Truly sit with it. Don't be so quick to answer. Really sit with it. Because maybe, just maybe, there's somebody else that accepts you for who you truly are. There's somebody out there, romantically, business-wise, creatively, whatever, artistically, whatever you want to do with whatever kind of relationship, that fully accepts you for who you are. And those are the relationships that you want to keep in your life. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Also, I do have a group program coming up in the next couple of months that's going to be super powerful, and enrollment is closing soon. So if you want more details on the program and if you want to be a part of the program, the link will be in the description box of this video as well. Have yourself a great day as always, and I'll see you in the next video.